Sick, and our broadcasts are being brought to you by BASF, along with the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley and Silo of Durand. I'm with Vince Davis. He's with the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He was with the United Soybean Board, and he was at the Take Action Against Herbicide Resistance booth. And we're going to talk a little bit about herbicide resistance. And Vince, thanks for joining us. Over the years, this has gotten to become a very serious issue. One that, if we don't make some changes now, could have some pretty serious consequences.
Yeah, herbicide resistance has really become a large issue. Started out the biggest issue in the South, but it is moving north, and it's really gripping the nation, really, for row crop production in terms of being a major issue that we have to take action against.
How did this come about? Just by using too much, not using enough, using it wrong, or a combination of all of the above?
A combination of all the above, but the overarching factor is that using one mechanism or one herbicide mode of action to control something repeatedly for too long is going to select for individuals that can resist that particular mode of action, and that's what we've done with a number of different herbicide modes of action, the most recent one being glyphosate. But once we develop resistance to glyphosate, we find out that we rediscover all of the other herbicides that weeds are already resistant to that we were able to mask for multiple years. So it's a compounded problem from overusing a single site of action.
Again, talking with Vince Davis from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Now, Vince, when we were talking earlier, what about using natural types of weed to get rid of weeds, like using cover crops or using some type of crop rotation? Is that something that has to start to become more of a solution here? Absolutely.
Our message moving forward is going to be that we have to find ways to diversify our weed management tactics, and that's going to include all kinds of different ways. We have to reevaluate the importance of crop rotation, mechanical control tactics, utilizing things like cover crops where they make sense. We have to have a diversified approach and not only rely on just a chemical approach, but it has to be a diversified approach moving forward.
What about a mechanical approach? Is that also something that a lot of farmers don't do this? And I guess I've not seen this a long time. After the crop has started to come up, you do some post-planting cultivation.
Yeah, growers used to do a lot of post-planting cultivation or inter-row cultivation in corn cropping systems. That practice really went by the wayside, and I know a lot of them don't want to start doing that again. But if we don't steward our herbicide products, we're going to have to start doing that again. Not only are we going to have to start considering inter-row cultivation in some systems where it makes sense, but even hand removal and actually getting out there and removing weeds. When we have bad weeds like Palmer amaranth, as they move into new locations, we really have to have a zero-tolerance approach for those weeds, and that means walking out and doing hand removal when it's still a number that's feasible to do that. So hand hoeing, hand removal, those are going to be weed control tactics that we're going to once again do just like years in the past.
If we don't do anything, do we have a certain amount of time, a few years or a decade, or before everything's just going to have to be changed, or we're only going to have mechanical and crop rotations and that's it?
I don't want to think about what happens if we don't do anything. We have to do something. We have to take action across the landscape against this now, or growers will, if they do nothing, they will get to a point where they experience probably a crop failure at some point in time, and then they realize they have to do something.
Some pretty scary stuff, but again, there are some solutions, and for folks, one of the first places they could go is contact their extension office for more information, right?
Correct. Contact extension specialists in almost every state. This has been the hot topic everyone's dealing with. You can go to the website called takeactionweeds.com. There's multiple sources out there. Local agronomists, local extension specialists have been discussing this issue and understands the importance of this issue, as well as knowing which weeds are the largest resistance threats in different areas. So just understanding what weeds are the biggest threat is the beginning of a good integrated tactic.
Again, Vince, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Vince Davis from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. From Commodity Classic, I'm Brian Winnekins for Real Country 1430 WRDA.